Train. Again, most looking to that CT side, though. It's a case of recovering as good a half as you can here to start things off. So, pistol round. Let's see the buy-ups here. We also get to see the odds from Lootbet, currently favouring AVEZ as expected, but not by too much of a margin. They have a little bit of stock in Crazy, getting that earlier best of one upset. Let's see if they can pull the best of three upset out here right now. Again, if you want to place a bet on this match, then you can go to Lootbet, make a deposit, and you can get €100 bonus just by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel. So, defuse for Norrot, got the smoke out for him as well. The flash in for Toxic, and straight up from BL. Look at his aggression towards Ivy. CR4ZY expecting this, to gonna have to force him out of position. Is unable to get the shots off. BL takes him down instead. Sensei's made his way out of Teak on the smoke, then to cover him off. Meanwhile, T's bursting in to the B bomb site. Demq's already on site looking for Marcos out here. Upper Kai will end up falling to a 4 versus 4. Marcos takes that one, can't connect the shot for the second, so the bomb plant will be secured in a 3 versus 3.
This is a really good position coming out from Crazy, allowing that bomb plant to get down. The only problem is they haven't been able to aggress onto the site. Great shot coming out from Psycho, and that's going to give them the man advantage.
And 3-on-2, taps up from Kyler, that does find Toxic over towards the summit spot, checking out the cross, a shot towards Sensei as well, and Psycho suddenly left alone. 1 versus 2, one shot, foul, and getting the second headshot as well. Kyler to fall last, and Crazy to secure an all-important pistol round.
Alrighty, there we go, Crazy. That's what I'm talking about. The 3-on-3, the post plant goes down. Now, the rotates are very quick from AVEZ, and they get themselves into really nice positions. And Crazy, they can't really do anything. They can't aggress forward. They don't have any map control gained on the side. But what they do have, Jay, is the 3-on-3. And what a clutch coming out in the end there. Oh, those pistol shots. Lovely stuff indeed. And, well, that's the start that Crazy were looking for.
Nades onto them though, gonna keep Sensei suppressed as the scout tries to get the trade frag for his teammates going down. 2 tags up from the scout. Nades to return for Norrot here. The 5 versus 3 situation, the bomb plant to be secured, and there's no real way they can deny that up for a retake here. And heavy investment, maybe worth it to save the couple of weapons that they have available, but Toxic drops 1 SMG on site. Does get a nice $600 kill, not quite the $1,200. CR4ZY will take the man down, so it's all left to be Ali in the back line here towards Ivy. 1 versus 4 for him. Scout shot, scoped in, doing damage. Again, going to try and tag them extremely low, so they could all die to the bomb blast here. If you can get that out, that would of course be a little bit of damage done to Crazy, but for the most part, they get their rifles in check, they get out of dodge, and they get the second on the T-side board.
Well, the force buy from AVEZ doesn't really find anything. Like, they do a hell of a lot of damage. You look at Psycho, Demq, Sensei, and CR4ZY, all very low players, but they're not getting taken down. So in terms of the economy game, a really great position from Crazy, only losing a single player, dealing with that force buy incredibly well. And well, this should be a 3-0 lead coming out for the Ukrainians. And certainly not the favourites in this best of 3. So getting off to a good start on the T side of Train can certainly put the pressure on the back of the AVEZ side.
Indeed it could. Early T-side start for Crazy. Obviously they needed something good like this to carry into the rest of the half. This is out for Marcos to try to shut it down with a decent kill against 1 player out here. AKs could end up in the hands of the CT side, especially if it pushes first, but for now they just got contention out here towards Ivy and into the brown halls. The flashes go over, completely blinds off Marcos, misses his shot, and that's going to be Demq taking the man down. So wide face, not expected, B site under control, and it's probably going to be another good win for Crazy.
Yeah, it probably will be. You just see for AVEZ, the best thing that they can do is at least get a couple of kills, but it doesn't look like that's going to be too likely. I say that, and well, at least Kai's going to be able to strike onto 1, but all in all, pretty good stuff coming out, and CR4ZY's just trying to get away with throwing that scout over, making sure that there's no chance of AVEZ being able to save that into the following round if they go and pick it up through city spawn. And for Kai and Kyla, they're pretty happy to not even look for really exit kills over at this B-bomb site. They're happy to play a little bit more passive on A and see if they can force Crazy into very aggressive positions to try and go hunting.
I won't give up the ghost on this one though. The MAC-10 will face forward, but everybody else is going to get to safety. Tucked with his AK also stays in as the Galil gets recovered, so they keep all the rifles. And a 3-0 right now for the T's. Looking real good at this moment in time with a lot more that can can go their way, especially if they get the rifle round together. I mean, they've built up quite the economy basis, so they shouldn't have worry too much about AVEZ doing damage with their rifle victory. The AWPs can come through for both sides. Sensei and Marcos going to try and meet each other here at Ivy. It's a little bit of Ivy controls, and a stack comes in from the CTs, but a return nade on Nora seems to do more damage. Not quite a kill as of right now, but the AWP is challenging for one here. The AWP, the T side, meanwhile, slowly facing in. It comes to reaction times, and Sensei sees a bit more of Marcos than Marcos sees of him. Start out for Crazy here.
And Marcos has really not even had a chance to get going. We see the AWP in his hands immediately get shut down, and well, that's a good opening coming out for the Crazy side. AVEZ, they have at least taken this T-con control. Now, especially on a map like Train, it's very difficult to try and get map control on the CT side. You don't have many options. Getting a little bit of information, pushing aggressively. Nora may even be able to hear a few of these footsteps above him. But for Crazy, they can just group up together. They can go for the B-side execution, go as a unit. They only have to deal with 2 players at most. And 50 seconds left on the clock. Not a lot of utility for the CT players.
Plenty for the T side, though, putting their smokes out towards the A bomb site. There it is, a fake, as you mentioned. Demq's going to try and make his way in, but Norrock's got the information game, so he's going to have to try act upon this and continue to try and sell it back. Not going to happen. It's Kai drops 1, Bialy drops 2. Toxic can find the trade to a 3 versus 2, but it's seen the bomb now. The plant will be secure, but CT's quickly in position for the retake. Orb scopes in, gets taken back, so it's all of the Toxic making his way in against Kyler, takes that head off his shoulders. Second kill, not quite landed. And Kai will get his 3K. Nice stuff coming in from him on the defensive as he steps up for AVEZ, and they get the first on the CT board.
And unfortunately, what happens there for the Crazy side is the fake is not successful at all because they've got to play aggressively in T-con for the CTs from AVEZ. So straight away, with all that utility that comes out of the A bomb site and Demq trying to sell a bit of a fake out through Pop Dog, the CTs know immediately. They know it's not A. They leave a couple of players there. The rotates are so quickly to that B bomb site. And that hold from Bialy was just incredible. Lovely 2K coming out. We're going to see it on the replay. That spray transfer. Fantastic stuff.
You know, one of the key elements there for the defensive. Unfortunately, he will be one of the key elements of the tech pause as well. AVEZ losing their main veteran. So a moment to getting back into the server. Specifics will be forthcoming. But again, a big round for AVEZ to find here. You know, obviously the CT side needs to get something out for their board, needs to do something well. Grabbing the second AWP as well, the double AWPs coming in on the first rifle round. It's looking really good right now. Crazy have still found themselves 3-1 up. So right now, they're in a really prime position here, Dwick.
Yeah, look, they certainly are. And it could be a good chance for Crazy to be able to respond going into the following gun rounds. And you got to think for AVEZ, you know, they've been able to pick up the double AWPs, considering they picked up 1 for their own teammate and 1 from Sensei. So at least for AVEZ, double AWPs on City side of Train is always fantastic, and probably an element that most teams try and get out on the City side, especially if they've got the economy line for it, if they've got the opportunity for it. But you've got to think for Crazy, it's a great start from them. You know, they go 3-0 up. Yes, they lose the first gun round of the game, but at least it's a good stance. You know, they were able to find that opening pick. They had that 5-on-4. Yes, it was a bit of a shutdown coming out from Bialy over at that B bomb side, but the intent's there for Jay.
And the intent has worked out pretty well for them. I mean, Crazy have looked pretty good on the T side, all things considered. Again, they get 3 rounds on the star when AVEZ have been, you know, kind of knocked back a peg. With rifles coming in for the next round as well, they could still find even more out of the T side in the early start. AVEZ forced to buy back because double ops are still in play. The M4s need to get brought down. Kai's need to be investing into his own M4. When Bialy gets back, I think he might have to rebuy his rifle. He did obviously go down. So still a lot of investment coming in from AVEZ. This will throw the economy not quite out, but it will certainly keep it low, and therefore AVEZ a bit of a hard time getting back into the swing of things, especially, again, if this is all talking about if Crazy are able to win this next round. So, you know, a big victory for the T side to take, but they just need to take it first.
And you've got to think for CR4ZY, we haven't really seen too much aggression in the early round. We haven't seen a T-side player try and sneak their way into Olaf and around that sandwich position. A lot of the time, it's just been very slow and passive on the defaults, waiting for AVEZ to make a mistake and to over-aggress. But it does look as if Bialy is back in the server, Jay. So we should be getting the round underway going into round number 5, our second gun round. And you've got to think for AVEZ, the most important element is get those double orbs to find impact.
Gonna start with round 5 here. Norrot's gonna take his orb over to Ivy. Marco's going to take his over to T-Con. Look for those opening kills here. 2 CTs out ahead of him. Or the wall bangs connecting from both players, I believe. Sensei to 66 and Marcos to 53. 5v5 situation, but passiveness across the rest of the CR4ZY line. Don't want to concede anything back to the CT hands.
Oh, that could have been a big opening, but the flames just obstruct the view from Sensei. But here comes DevQ out towards the sandwich position. It is a 1-for-1 trade, but the presence has already been shown at the A bomb site, and the trades, they just keep going back and forward so damn quickly.
The HP advantage does favour the T side, but the man advantage is on CT. Bomb plant to be secured. The AWP sees Marcos back there, and he gets the second player as well. Beautiful stuff from him. That'll be a second on the board for the AVEZ retake.
Oh, and Marcos is coming alive once again. We saw his AWP potential on the CT side of Overpass. Those shots were very up close and personal, very close range. And, well, he delivers. 3 kills going the way of the AWPs combined from Norrot and Marcos in that last round. And, well, for CR4ZY, it was a great opening start. We saw DemQ going into that sandwich position, getting that 1-for-1. The trades kept going back and forward, but it seemed like it got to a point the 3-2 advantage was there for the AVEZ side. And, well, they just cleaned up. A half-buy attempt coming out for the T side. And this is an opportunity for the Poles to tie up the scoreline, Jay.
The round halls here for CR4ZY onto their half by round. It's expected that they should probably get cleaned up relatively quickly here. But the rifles, the AWP and Marcos will still stand by and get ready to receive them. Smokes go down, the T-side make their way out. The re-smokes back from Kyler, going to try and hold contention here on the default plant position. The AWP flashed out, giving them a line back into the bomb site as they fall back passive. The plant though is very low HP. He's going to get towards the site, get the plant down here, not seen. Bialy does get Sergius at least. They quick frag back from Toxic, but Kyler gets Psycho, so 4 versus 2. The Deagle's so close, but he misses his shots, and Marcos can take him down, leaving Toxic alone. M4 bursts in, does not get his kill, and now just gets him to save his rifles. CR4ZY will concede the third bet to AVEZ, even standing, as you mentioned, Blake, but a bomb plant bonus will significantly bolster the buy.
I'll tell you what, a lot of people might be thinking, like, why did Kyler just throw a smoke to the left, sort of like behind him? And I haven't seen that before from a player around that B bomb site, but what it actually does is it gives you a sightline in towards ramp when the Heaven players can run out and they can't quite see you due to the elevation angle. Something I haven't quite seen before. It didn't exactly work for Kyler, considering that he played a little bit more passive, but you could certainly see what he was trying to be creative there. And the AVEZ side, well, they are going to be able to at least tie us up at 3 rounds apiece, and they certainly are able to hold on to that M4 going forward, but, well, straight away, Kyler, he's going to be able to find the opener on the CT side.
And a big start. And the Orpa Sensei unable to find the trades back for CR4ZY. They do try their best, but AVEZ going to get away pretty much unscathed for the most part here. Just that damage done to Marcos, but everybody else is fine. Also vacating the Ivy control entirely. Going to continue to push up towards T-Con. Force DemQ out of position as Norrot gets that opening kill. Marcos tagged to 6 over on the B site defensive, and with AVEZ gaining the map control, gaining the second man advantage, they find Sensei next, and they could potentially get the round to their favor.
And Sensei knows that someone's aggressive, but he just can't really find the angle for it. Bialy, this is an off angle if I've ever seen one. On top of the little wooden crate, him falling down actually does give a little bit of information up for the CR4ZY side. And if Bialy's not careful, he could get taken down here from this AWP.
Go around the corner, and indeed Sensei does take the man down. The AWP of Norrot still there to challenge it from Sandwich. He's very careful about their aggression. The Molotov's in towards him though, should force him on top of the blue train. Is he going to be seen? He will be now, but he can't get his shot off. The Eagle back on Psycho. Does eventually drop to the hands of the AK. Sensei is traded though. And 15 seconds for Psycho to make his way to the site. He's got back up here towards Ivy. AWP's rotating out of that position. Siphoned off by the smoke. First in from the M4. Sees two players. Does damage. No kills. And Molotov takes him down. And the AWP scopes in. Takes it back to 1 versus 1. But Psycho with the HP advantage can take him out with the AK. 2 kills to his name. And Crazy just maintain the lead.
Oh man, you've got to think, you know, with the 5-on-3 advantage that AVEZ had, was it really necessary in getting so aggressive out through T-Con? And, well, using code MaltaV over at Hellcase will give you a little bit of extra money on your account. And MaltaV15 for 15% refill bonus. You'll be able to get all the information in the links below the Twitch channel and getting involved in our fantastic partners over at Hellcase. And for Crazy, honestly, Jay, that was a round that they probably shouldn't have been able to convert, considering the position that AVEZ were in.
Orbs and M4s here for the CTs. A very hard buy back in from AVEZ, but they do find the opening kill with both Orbs going down here to the Ivy position. The Molotov in from Marcos, who's got the face around his corner, get his shots off. Nothing going to get hit by Psycho, but eventually catches that man. He was completely blind, so couldn't defend himself. And the AWP of Narwhal still looks for a trade frag. Back to the man advantage, but not to be. M4 Piali gets down Demq. We return to a 4 versus 3.
And AVEZ, they've got pretty lucky to be able to find this opening advantage. And, well, for Crazy, it seemed like once they had found at least a trade out from Ivy, they just gave away some unnecessary one-on-ones to bring the advantage back in their favor, Jay.
.45 seconds, and the AWP, Norrot keeps his eyes on from Ivy. The open the AK of these two T-side players will start to make their way in, but as soon as one's seen, they should be able to connect the dots. Kyler's also shoulder baiting in from Stopper, ensuring nothing else comes through. Sensei pops up. AWP sees the man, should now know where they both are at. And the CTs converge on the crossfire here from 3 players at the moment. 4th one also in from Pop Dog in a moment's time. 15 seconds, Crazy, ensure nothing else comes through. Bomb gets dropped, Sensei gets dropped, and now there's a much more confident response to the round that Crazy just got.
And for AVEZ, I mean, we saw it a lot on Overpass, the aggression out towards the A bomb site, and it seems like we're certainly seeing it again on Train. The double orbs pushing out through Ivy for the aggression. And well, Crazy, they're going to take a tactical, realizing the money line, they're not going to be able to get a buy through. It's just going to be a half buy investment. But they've got to think, right, okay, how can we try and deal with this aggression? Do we want to try and fight aggression with aggression? Or do we want to play passive and allow that map control to be taken from AVEZ?
Oh, a tactical pause here for Crazy. Doing a decent amount of damage here on the T side, and again stacking up a number of good rounds that could still work well for them in the grand scale of the map, but if they can extend them any further, then that will work even better for them. Second tactical in a row called by Crazy. Okay, they need a little bit more time to think about this. I mean, they've pretty much decided that they're going to force the buy here. Psycho on $700 with the AK invested in the scout out for Sensei, so it won't look amazing. Certainly seen better buys from several teams, but at least 2 AKs to work with here on the T side.
They're coming up with something big. A second tactical, that's something you don't see very often being called one after the other. So I'm guessing what happened there is that first tactical was to probably say, right, what we're going to do in the following gun rounds and what we want to achieve in this round. And then maybe the call was, hang on a minute, no, let's actually go for the force and kind of change that. And let's come up with a new idea, because for the money line they had, they certainly are not looking like a team that are going to force. But, well, Crazy, they are.
Double orb set up here for AVEZ once again. AK there to back it up here for Kai, and the first orb in of Marcos will take contact against the orb of the scout, I should say, of the T side. AK straight out. Pop Dog, though, gets taken down by Bialy. Marcos gets Toxic next up. The scout desperately looking for the pick back on Narrot. He's been seen. The shot connects towards Sensei, so 2 players left for the T's. Unfortunately, CR4ZY bottlenecked out of here, picked apart. AK moving in to take out CR4ZY, sees that bomb. There's a second player there as well as Marcos gets his USB kill, or watching out. And Marcos will get the final frag with a 3rd frag, and then the 2nd USB kill was won the round. AVEZ lead once again, game by the CT side, 5-4 on the board.
Oh, well, so much for the 2nd tactical pause. I mean, that was just shut down from AVEZ. CR4ZY just didn't even find anything, and you've got to think now, we look at the previous matchup that these 2 teams faced against each other only a few days ago, and it was only 5 rounds on the T side for CR4ZY. Yes, they're 1 round away from being able to tie up their previous result, but things and momentum is starting shifting the other way. These double orbs are finding so much impact at the moment, and for CR4ZY, the best thing that they can do, Jay, to get back into this game on the T side, they need to get rid of these double orbs on the CT side.
Nice nades on. Could have been missed out here by the CT side. Toxic only taking like 4 HP. Incendiary from Kyler going to stop the push coming in from the ramp area. M4 getting out of dodge. Considering it here for BRD to jump down, he's going to be ready for whatever CR4ZY want to throw at them. They're basically going for a B-side commitment here with a severe lack of utility. It does cause the hit to be very dry. CR4ZY taking their time with this one. Going to go for a fake out towards A, commitment towards B. Or up here for Marcos, drops 1. USB gets a 2nd kill, seeing nothing else. The M4 of Kyler drops that bomb, drops a 2nd. Nice simple 3K for him as well. Anti-eco cleaned up easy. BRD is the only casualty sustained. And AVEZ now have a rifle round to deal with from CR4ZY.
And, well, they try a little bit of a fake out of that A-bomb site, see if they can just kind of waterfall out from the heaven position to get a bomb plant, but unfortunately, not successful in doing so. Kylo really shuts this down with the M4 and getting a couple of nice picks. AVEZ, this is now them getting a lot of momentum at the moment. The economy line, at least on a few plays, is really starting to build. And for CR4ZY, they need a response, and they need one now. And look at the fast plays coming out from Demq. He's so damn aggressive.
But Norrot takes down his backup. Sensei, 4 versus 4. Marcos to drop another good kill. So there's a falling. Toxic does find Marcos back to a 3 versus 2 now. Kai sprayed up. Kyler responds still. And Toxic left alone in the midst of the smoke. The bomb's in CT hands. The earlier end of the smoke going to get spotted out. Takes out Toxic, very good and very efficient. Again, a brick wall post up by AVEZ. Every single player contributing to that round. And CR4ZY, their recent execution has just been unable to break the CT defense.
Honestly, that was so chaotic. That was so quick from CR4ZY. They rush out from T-Con. They try and wide swing the AWP out from Ivy. And within 30 seconds, that round had started and ended. It just seemed like the kills were just going so quickly back and forward. And CR4ZY, they were looking for the opening man advantages. But for AVEZ, they kept holding on to it. A 7 of 4, we can certainly see why they decided to pick this map, Jay.
M4. Been up against Toxic. Standing by hoping to get something out here, but no. Norrot again to start things off against Demq. First frag goes the way of the AWP back here towards Hell. Kai takes out Toxic in Pop Dog. The T's made their way around. Somehow Psycho getting in behind the CT line, but they're able to account for it. Oh, CR4ZY! Alright. That's a good frag, but 1 for 3, and a 4 on 2 still for AVEZ.
And CR4ZY, without a little bit of a sneaky play out from Ivy. Great shot actually comes out from Sergis Piali. I think that flash was supposed to go over the E-box line and into the T-Con area, but I suppose it doesn't really make the biggest difference. Oh,
Sensei dropping. CR4ZY does get another good pick back. The scout headshot unable to land of the 3rd man, so his string of good luck has come to an end. But even so, some impressive kills on the way back out. AVEZ will get their 8th on the board, claim the CT half. CR4ZY, it's all about bringing the scoreline as close as possible to watch this scout shot once again from CR4ZY.
Bang!
Fantastic adjustment. That would look so good.
That was pretty sharp. That was a good scout shot. But the thing is that I'm noticing, especially on this T side, Jay, is yeah, a couple of individuals are hitting some nice shots, but they're not winning a lot of rounds at the moment. We had a 3-0 lead off the back of that pistol, but outside of that, they've only been able to win 1 gun round, and that's been it. AVEZ have been in complete control on this CT side. They've been able to press very aggressively out through Ivy, and well, that's exactly what's happening. Crazy. They can't even take Ivy control. CR4ZY is forced so far deep, and he's going to have to at least get some backup if he wants to take back this control.
Well, damage onto Kai and Marcos from here. The AKs, the AWPs, of course, standing by for Crazy. Smokes down from the CT camp. We'll keep them over at Pop Dog, held away. But very little contact established from Crazy. They're just assuming map control right here. 60 seconds left. The T's slowly but surely making their way into what seems to be a split play, but very undecisive here from Crazy.
I mean, at least for the Crazy side, they've been able to establish a 2-man setup for AVEZ at the B bomb site, so they only need to deal with 3 players at this A bomb site, but it has to come down to the entries, and they've got to find it. Marcos, they know where his position is.
Don't think you saw Sensei make his way out towards Olof. A lot of noise being made here, but the Molotov's going to blind it off here. Bialy gets 1 kill, Sensei responds. CR4ZY and Toxic get 2 more kills of their own right. It's the A side scrambles to get to position, but they're unable to get there in time. Kai does catch Toxic aggressive. Now look for the AK. Going to spray through against Sensei, but times it a little bit too late. So boost up now as the M4 looks on site, looks for someone of the T side, trying his best to catch off the Crazy players, to turn a man of knowledge back to their favor. Looking on, Tikon gets Sensei with a double dink headshot through the wall. So 2-on-2 now, Kai making his way in past Red. There'll be 1 T-side player seen, but Demcube takes it out. M4 here for Kyla, barely gets damaged to 2 HP, just barely escapes as well for the likes of Kyla. And CR4ZY gets that final kill, 2K to his name, and 5 on the board for Crazy.
Okay, that's a good round coming out from Crazy, and it was down to the wire. It certainly was. We saw a lot of chaos being established, and that's one thing that we've certainly seen from this Crazy side on the T side is really crazy stuff. You know, they're playing very close to one another. They're really strafing everywhere, trying to use those ladders. And that's one element of a map like Train, that you can use that sort of strafing ability off the back of the ladders at the A and B bomb site. In particular, at A, we've seen it a lot from Crazy. A great nade to start things off, and that's Kai going down pretty low at just 52 points of health.
Yeah, tagged to the back of the head.
Don't like that.
Give you a headache.
Yeah, a little bit.
Kai, his head spinning so much that he decides to aggress here towards Tikon, and that might actually be a positive play. I mean, they're going to make their way out of position. As you can see, Demcube is up here in the apartments. There's Kai continues to get aggressive, going to boost Bialy up above this smoke to look for any T-side presence. Nothing will be seen here. The AWP and Marcos see some presence towards Brown Hills, and lands a leg shot against Toxic, gets taken out by Demcube. Opening up the round for Crazy now. Backstab also wrapping back over. Sentinel's going to catch Kyla, try and stall the rotation from Norot. Want to make his way towards the bomb site, get planted out eventually here. The 5 versus 3. AVEZ might consider the save, and I actually think they've decided on it right here. Yeah. So Crazy to 6 on the T side board going into the last round of the half. They've really made magic on this opening.
Yeah, they've had a really great late resurgence, I would kind of want to say, on this T side. That was a great round. A lot of the time, you don't see teams trying to split in from Ivy to the B bomb site. Maybe it's a lurker at most, but any more than 2 players you don't see very often, because it's really difficult, because obviously you've got to establish that Ivy presence, and then you've got 2 massive sight lines from Old Bomb to try and at least deal with the CT side looking in and getting that information, but it works out really nicely. We see the presence coming out, the B bomb site, that draws the attention away from a couple of the CTs. The late lurk comes out from Ivy as they make their way in through CT to try and wrap into that B bomb site. And Crazy, 6 rounds on T, not a bad half at all. Even if they only get 6 rounds, they can be pretty happy with that, considering that they really struggle on the T side on this map. And you know what? They could potentially get a 7th, especially looking at the buy from AVEZ. It's 2 MP9s to back up the rifles.
Now Kyla and Marcos Gonna have a bit of a difficult time there with the lack of the, major abundance, I should say, of head Kevlar right now for CR4ZY. The T-side forces are in a decent spot to fend off the likes of the lack of weaponry here for AVEZ. So all things considered, it looks pretty good for the Ukrainians. AKs into players quickly make their way out and quickly shut down Toxic. Psychos up, spray through Marcos, gets the follow-up kill. That's, it's two pretty big frags to gain, especially considering it's the SMGs that get tagged up. Map control established, and Sensei with the AWP. If he misses this shot, he could be in a world of hurt. The smokes are going to give them extra cover as they grab those AKs and try and fall back.
Unfortunately for Kyler, couldn't quite find the other one, but look, those MP9s swinging, doing a hell of a lot of damage, finding some great openers. And you've got to think for the CR4ZY side, they don't know if AVEZ is still posted up, and well, that's exactly where Kyler is.
Ready for Sensei, first round the corner, slow peeking, he scoped out, we'll see the shoulder, but Sensei will still get the shot off. So 2-for-1 trade, Marcos, only thing left on the B bomb site, needs backup, and Bialy is there, quickly in from Connector to put the Molotov down, ensure that nobody goes pushing aggressive. They have got enough utility to go for execution though. No smokes for CR4ZY, so it'll be a little bit open. They've used the majority of it faking towards the A site. SMG for Marcos still here, he's evaded bullets, DemQ getting close, but no cigar, and that's going to cost him, especially he's off that bomb. Sensei with a quick scope back on towards Marcos. Needs to pick up the bomb and get it planted, but now he's the last man left. 10 seconds, 2K to the AWPer's name. Gonna have to ace clutch this. Here's one player coming in, drops him, looks for Kai, but no flick. M4 shuts it down and keeps control for AVEZ to turn a 9-6 half to the favor of the CT side.
Oh, well, okay. AVEZ, that was a pretty good retake in the end. And honestly, what that comes down to, Jay, is the fact of those MP9s realize, okay, you know, we don't quite have the firepower that the M4s do. Let's see if we can get up close and personal. They get aggressive up towards the brown halls. They force that early 5-on-3. And from there, CR4ZY, it's just a numbers game. Yes, we saw a couple of nice rounds towards the end of that first half, but I mean, they can be happy with 6 rounds, but at the same time, they probably should have been able to convert a little bit more than that.
AVEZ still being able to hold control on the CT side as expected, so faith has not wavered, especially on the odds at LootBet. Again, to remind you that if you want to get involved here with Malta Vibes, the best way to do that is through LootBet, our betting partner. You can get 10 free CSGO spins and up to €100 bonus on your deposit by clicking the banner under the Twitch channel and get yourself involved. And you saw those odds on screen, and we'll see whether CR4ZY can live up to the upset potential, whether AVEZ will be able to shut them down. Again, still here on the AVEZ map pick. The utility in for Nora, the defuse out for Surgers with a smoke, and Nora's just going to try and put this out towards the B site very early on. Sell them on the idea of a hit, but they're not going to fall for it. No T-side presence felt. Splitting back in as the bomb make its way in from the Ivy presence. 2 players smoked off. They can't mow much further than this. Meanwhile, AVEZ trying to strike out towards the main entrances. Very little being given up, but AVEZ showing their teeth here and there.
Oh, and CR4ZY. That smoke out from Ivy pretty much shuts this round down of what AVEZ are trying to go for. They show the util over a B to fake out that bomb site and try and go quickly into A, and it gets slowed right down, but they have found the opening advantage. CR4ZY, they're in position to try and shut this down, but it seems like the blocks are fighting so much. Sensei and Toxic are now bringing this back into the 2-on-2, and for AVEZ, they've still got time to work with, and now it's all down to Toxic. 1 versus 2. These Glocks, man, doing so much work for the AVEZ side.
Big stuff there from the defensive of CR4ZY, but they were unable to get it done. Look at these shots from Sensei in particular. Ooh. Beautiful shooting there. And they turn it to a 2 versus 2 with Toxic as well, but just the pressure forcing them back into corners quite literally. They couldn't fight out of it. And that is a 10th, a pistol, a crucial T-side start for AVEZ, and they'll continue to make the lead grow. AK's in, MAC-10s, 3 rifles total for the T-side line. The Eagle moving in for DemQ, hoping to catch off 1 player early on in the T-con position. Kyler with his Mac moves up, and Kai with the AK, seeing 1 player out towards his position. These scouts going to get shut down. 2 players spotted. The 3rd man also set to fall. DemQ does respond with 1 good Deagle shot, but 3 picks have come in around him, and he's on 9 HP, so he can't stay alive for much longer. 1 versus 4 for Toxic now, and AVEZ look to continue here with their momentum.
And Toxic can't really do too much. Unfortunately, this force buy from CR4ZY hasn't really been able to reap too much success. They get a single kill, maybe see if they can hold on to this Deagle from Toxic, bring it into the following round. Bit of an interesting angle. We don't really see too many players around here looking to try and go for the save. It does look as if, though, that the gun barrel's not quite being seen, considering the Ivy players checked that sight line. One player goes down, but not any more than that.
3 AK stay in play as well, so AVEZ keeping all their main weapons in check. Their primary investment stays in, continues to gain value. CR4ZY has got to go to the eco here. One Mac 10 still left for Kai as the reinvestment comes in from Marcos. 2 Zeus's for DemQ and Sensei. Probably unlikely to do much from here unless they get to the angle positions, and you can see actually they're placed up behind the server wax and also at Pop Dog. But that kind of a range is not going to help that much against Kai, who swings in from T-Con, shuts him and Psycho down immediately for 2 big value frags on the SMG. Toxic with his P250 taps up on Kai, just tagging to 12 points of health, but Noro is there alongside a second player below him. And the Zeus is Sensei in a 1 versus 5. I mean, if he catches off one of the AKs, then sure, fair play. Marcos might just give him up that opportunity. Hearing all those footsteps around him. Look in the corner. Oh, the Zeus shot misses again. Second time that's happened so far, but 12 to 6, AVEZ. Confident pistol and conversions, and the rifle's now set to come out from CR4ZY.
And I'll tell you what, they win this rifle round, I could certainly see a comeback coming out from CR4ZY. They lose it, and I think they're done. That's one big problem, is having a weaker side on a map. I mean, Train and Nuke, I suppose, are big CT-sided maps. And the fact is, you know, AVEZ, they got off 9 rounds on CT, they won the pistol, they're up 12 to 6, I should say. They're in a really good position that they win out this gun round. They just have so much momentum to be able to carry forward to getting this map victory. So for CR4ZY, they need an answer, and they need one now.
So I'm going to start off here towards the Olof position, taking out the first of Nora. That's a good start for CR4ZY, the kind of one that could get them back in on the CT half, but flashbangs in. AVEZ still maintain their map control and setting up their default positions. There's no contention towards Pop Dog as well, so Kyler will jump face, ensure that nobody is going to be there, and he doesn't go down so easily when he makes his way down that ladder, but primary concern is going to be that Ivy control. 3 of the 4 players remaining for AVEZ stacked up here. They need to gain this position if they want to go for the, they want to execute on the plan.
For AVEZ, like, they don't really have too much map control at the moment. Kyler, he's established Pop Dog control. He's kind of around Brown Halls, but he hasn't seen if anyone's pushed up aggressively. So it all really comes down to this Ivy play. It needs to be for AVEZ some success. They need to be able to try and bring it back into an even playing field, whether it's a 4-on-4 or a 3-on-3. They can't play the numbers game and the disadvantage, and they're just walking Ivy.
Broke down 35 seconds. M4 still standing by. The flash out from Bialy could get caught off guard. CR4ZY. No one's going to check behind them. Is he going to push forward to the smoke? Kai will keep his eyes on. 20 seconds though. AVEZ need to make their way in right now, and CR4ZY will drop Kai. 2 players out. Stop-up bomb gets dropped by Psycho as all the kills get mopped up. Bialy's last man standing. 1-on-5, and Sensei, blinded by the flash, takes him down regardless.
Alrighty then. Well, that's a really great round coming out for the CR4ZY side, just completely shutting it down. And for AVEZ, it comes off the back. They lose that opening man advantage. They're trying to take the Ivy presence. They really try and slow it down, but they just don't find any entries. They try and see if they can go for that bomb plant, have not really been able to clear out all the cheeky positions. And for CR4ZY, that is a round that could potentially kickstart their comeback.
Flashes in, fast play out from the AK here at the T side. Look how close Kai's gotten. They have no idea. And DemQ's going to go down for it. Manic spray from Psycho doing damage, not getting the frag back. So AVEZ trying to respond off a couple of disaster rounds. Now the AK is pushing in from Ivy, could get some damage of their own right. Psycho flashed in, Marcos takes him back, looks towards the connector area as well. His teammates covered off Pop Dog already. And Kyle are going to get another kill on CR4ZY, even Toxic and Sensei. Back on the B side to save because this is not worth it. The money line will be knocked for a loop. And CR4ZY will have to keep as many rifles in to bolster a force buy, as AVEZ are about to get to unlucky 13 on their T side.
And I'll tell you what, that's a great read from AVEZ. They realized, okay, that previous gun round, it was very slow. We were trying to gain map control. It didn't quite work. Let's see if we can change it up. Let's see if we can get aggressive. And Kai, he gets into sandwich so damn quickly, finds an opening kill. And for CR4ZY, once they lose a couple more players, they go, right, you know, we can't even continue trying to fight. We have to go for the save. And for AVEZ, well, they only lose a single player, so that helps try and at least build their economy, which doesn't really exist in terms of reserve cash. 13-7. 3 more rounds for AVEZ to be able to take the opening map of their own map pick of Train. And for CR4ZY, you've got to think that they've got to force the investment back, right? They've certainly got money for it. I mean, Sensei could drop an M4, Toxic could drop an M4, at least to try and keep the money line at a semi-decent result.
Oh, as you mentioned, there should be enough money to go for a buy-up anyway. I mean, you know, it will still be difficult. There'll still be some issues across the board. The utility may have to be considered from CR4ZY. She goes without head Kevlar for it, which is respectable. AKs are out across the entire T-side board, so the head Kevlar won't matter too much anyway. But the AWP and the M4 certainly keeps them at a decent stance here on money line. Not an amazing stance, but it could be looking a lot worse if they lost those 2 rifles. May even have to consider the half buy as a result of it, but Molotov's in. Look at the aggression from CR4ZY, knowing that they are up against the walls. They have to try and push back, and unfortunately, it's going to get them into an even worse position. Psycho down to start. DemQ desperately looking for Kai, who's been seen. Bialy swings, gets himself a tidy 2K, and now looks to press on towards the A bomb site. The AWP Sensei just can't seem to catch him off. A good flick on towards Bialy. Does get traded back. CR4ZY trying to keep control to a 3-on-2. The AWP seeing him. 1 player back at Pop Dog. The teams are going to make their way up to the bomb site. CR4ZY knows this. The AK slowly closing in. It's all a case of timing, and the headshot comes in anyway. Toxic 1v3 could stop the bomb. Could stop the AWP, I should say, but no. Marcos swinging in, getting his kill, getting the 14th for AVEZ.
Now, I'm not really too concerned in terms of numbers for the AWPers of these respective sides, but in terms of impact, it really seems like Sensei has not been able to find that impact with the AWP, both on T or CT side, whereas for Marcos, he can do it all. He can AWP on the entry on T, finding opening kills, finding a lot of impact at the moment. And tactical pause from CR4ZY, they're thinking, okay, well, we don't really have enough money to go for a force buy. Toxic and Psycho do. DemQ, Sensei, and CR4ZY don't. So they're going to play for OT here by the looks of things.
Indeed, it does look like they will.
Auto. No? Toxic's force bought.
Never mind.
Okay. I mean, it looked like they were going to go for just a half buy, but no. Auto shotgun out. Let's see what he can do with it.
I mean, it's the kind of weapon that can work. I mean, we've mentioned many times that if you push through a ramp, then you can just shut down an entire T-side rush towards B site. And AVEZ, I don't think they're going to go that far, but you can see Toxic is going to make his way into that ramp position and try and contest it. A lot of utility being put out for the nade stacks. The damage done. Kyler tagged initially here for, I believe, a wallbang shot. The XM for Toxic still standing by, seeing that flashbang and evade it entirely as Norrock gets that first kill on DemQ, traded back by Sensei for his AWP. They'll know that they're force bought now, so they realize that they've got CR4ZY on the ropes. If AVEZ can still take this round confidently, then they're going to be able to probably secure the map here.
CR4ZY, they've got a little bit of an idea of what's going on. They've been able to push Ivy, so they know that there's no Ivy presence coming out. The B-side player is at least now very passive from Toxic. He tried to get aggressively, but they don't know about the Pop Dog position, and that's the man advantage going right back the way of AVEZ.
CR4ZY need to find a response. They need to do so now. Sensei with his AWP scoping in to Pop Dog, looking on towards T. Con. I mean, all the utility seems to suggest it's going to be A, but you're right. It's going to be the shotgun from Toxic. Time to shine for you, my man. 13 kills in this matchup so far. Can he bolster his numbers? Can he bolster the round? He'll get the first frag onto Kyler. Grab the AK, look on the second player, but the spray is awkward. CR4ZY at a 5-7 trades back on the A site, grabs that AWP, but a 1v2, a retake out from already a player here in Connector, and that's going to be the 15th round for AVEZ. 8-2 overtime for CR4ZY with a broken buy as well. I think it's over at the WEG.
I'm with you there, and it really seems like for CR4ZY, they weren't able to get going. I mean, certainly the economy line's been a factor. We've seen a lot of forces. We've seen at least that one round they won. You know, even the economy wasn't able to stay stable for most of this first half. But the thing you got to take into account is CR4ZY. They've never really got going in this second half. Only one round on the CT side, and well, for AVEZ, they've certainly got the weaponry advantage, and they only need one more round, Jay.
M4s on one player. Two from RC, a scout and SMG. The SMG from DemQ will move in to the T-Con area, but nothing's going to be seen here. The T's are backed off. They're going to lean towards the B site once again. A much faster setup for a much faster execution to just end things right here, right now. And the CTs have read this here. The aggression from T-Con has allowed the stack to come through from the 4 players of the CT defensive, so this could still get interesting if AVEZ continue to commit.
Thing is though, Bialy, he could either sell a fake here at A and try and force the rotations out, or if he gets aggressively, he's going to find out. And I'll tell you what, this could honestly be a B fake where they go down from Pop Dog to this A bomb site.
Flashes in, Norrot's going to move up. Bialy has isolated that kill on DemQ, and the player to rotate is CR4ZY. They've seen all the utility, but no T-side presence. 5 versus 4 as Bialy moves closer to the old hell. Norrot's going to make his way up on the train, take out CR4ZY. And 3 players left standing for CR4ZY to deny AVEZ their map victory. The Scouter Sensei looks in, looks to the back line, scope out towards Bialy, allows Psycho a chance to get the kill. So good reaction times to the information gain on the footsteps. How much more can they get done here? Marcos will drop Psycho. Sensei will be the last man standing. If Toxic goes to Norrot, and he doubles up for his 16-7. AVEZ will be able to take their map pick against CR4ZY in much more dominant fashion compared to a couple days ago, Dwayne. So the dominant force coming out on top here for the Polish side. A first map going their way.
And that looked really good from AVEZ. I was very impressed. That was a dominant performance, and they looked in complete control. First half and the second half, they read CR4ZY really well. We saw a lot of fakes coming out on the T side. I don't know how. They must have just had so many gut feelings, but the amount of times that we'd seen stacks coming out from the CR4ZY side, AVEZ using utility to whether it was A or B, and then rotating to the site that's pretty much undefended. A fantastic T half, and honestly, if AVEZ can play like that on train, I certainly think that they can bring a lot more to the table, Jay.
No, absolutely. That looked brilliant. That looked so brilliant there. But by comparison to the last time they faced off against each other here on train, and it was a much better T side for AVEZ. You know, they lost it to sorry, they barely took it against the CR4ZY line just because of the fact, you know, that the T side went the way that it did basically. So you know, they've had such a weird sort of matchup by comparison here. That one went 19-16. This one went 16-7, and AVEZ currently on top of things. Will continue on to Vertigo, the map pick of CR4ZY, Dwayne. Could there be a different future lined up here for the Ukrainians?
Yeah, look, there certainly can be. I certainly think that going into Vertigo, we can still see that being a map victory for the CR4ZY side. But the thing that they need to be thinking of is the fact of, let's get the CT side going. Let's not rely on the T side. I mean, Vertigo, yes, it's a little bit of a different map. It is more T-sided than a map like Train. But they've got to come into it fresh attitude. Completely, you know, take Train out of the equation. Let's not think about it. Let's think on what's going forward.
Over on the B stream, you just saw it there from Fate and Hard Legion. Currently looking pretty good for the Fate side, 12-9 on that board, as that is continuing over on that B stream. For now, though, we're going to go to a short break, and when we come back, we will be looking at Vertigo between the likes of AVEZ and CR4ZY. So don't go anywhere. We're back after this very short break.
Okay. Alrighty.
Nice shot. Lock and load.
Wow, very good. Let me show you how it is done. Yeah, no. Woo, damn! That was one of the best nickel fights I've been to.
And welcome back to Malta Vibes here. We're getting into our second map of our best of 3 series between AVEZ and CR4ZY. If you're just joining us, you missed out on Train. It was AVEZ's map pick, and it was AVEZ's map victory, 16-7. A much bigger far cry compared to the 19-16 scoreline we saw from them a few days ago. And looking confident from the polls going into the second map here, but it is Vertigo, Dwayne, and it could be a little bit more difficult than that first map initially suggested.
Yeah, no, it certainly will be. I mean, you have a look at the CR4ZY side. They're on a 5-map win streak, and it seems like the more they play it, the better they get. We've seen some great results. A 16-9 result against Saw on this map 3 days ago. Yesterday, they took down Fate 16-7. So it seems like the better the team, the better the result. And honestly, for AVEZ, yeah, look, we've seen some decent results from them. They've taken 10 rounds against Endpoint, a great Vertigo team, a 19-7 victory over Nordavind last month, but all in all, it's not a map that they play all too often, and the results aren't exactly fantastic for the Polish lineup.
Yeah, no, exactly. And that's part of the reason why I think a lot of people are looking at this, ourselves included, saying, you know, this map actually could possibly swing over to the favor of CR4ZY. And yeah, AVEZ will be at the advantage on the basis of, hey, they are AVEZ and they just took a pretty dominant victory over on Train. But, you know, with the map statistics being the way that they are, with CR4ZY having, you know, not the greatest experience against the greatest level of teams, certainly I'd say that the caliber of teams that AVEZ has faced has been, you know, a lot higher by comparison.
Yes.
But the losses are still on that board. It's still only so much of a good map for AVEZ. And we've seen some very impressive scorelines coming out again from CR4ZY. You know, even though Fate are in a slump, you don't just 16-7 them on a map like Vertigo.
Yeah, look, you certainly don't. So going into it, I certainly think the CR4ZY have got a very good advantage going into the second map. One thing they certainly need to at least bring to the table is a bit of confidence. And maybe Bialy's going to be that man, at least for AVEZ, to kind of shut that down, right? I mean, we've seen how much impact he's had in that last series. We saw how much experience he can bring to this lineup. For CR4ZY, they need to put that aside. They need to say, okay, let's try and shut someone like Bialy down. One thing, another big comparison is the fact of that AWP from Sensei wasn't as impactful as Marcos was, I would say, in that first map.
Yeah, no, I have to agree. Like, Marcos looks so much better on the AWP. It just fit him so much more naturally, I feel like. And you know, it definitely sucks because Sensei was the guy leading the charge there for CR4ZY. He was the top of the board by comparison. But you know, it just fit Marcos so much better. And Marcos wasn't even the top performer in that matchup. You know, he mentioned Bialy being the main guy that you know, that you should shut down, and I agreed with that to an extent. But they've also got to try and shut down Kai as well, because he was the top fragger. He was contributing the most on the kill numbers, 1.5 rating in that last map. So he's had a monster game. He's been looking particularly impressive, I think, for the AVEZ side. As we go to our knife round, and the pressure will start to apply for CR4ZY. So, Dweg, of course, I'm going to ask you for your predictions on this one. How do you think this map is going to go?
Yeah, look, I still favouring CR4ZY, at least on this map. There's certainly a chance that AVEZ can 2-0, there's no doubt about it, but I'm still going to go with a pretty bold prediction that we're going to go to a third map, and CR4ZY should be able to take Vertigo. I don't want to say it will be the easiest of fares. I certainly think the double digits can come up for the AVEZ side, but yeah, I'm going to put 16 on the board for the CR4ZY, and I'm really hoping that we can go and see that third map of Nuke.
Yeah, I'm thinking we'll go there too. AVEZ will take the knife round, and again, I do also agree that it should be close. And of course, big shout out to our partners in Gaming Malta. Malta Vibes is brought to you by Gaming Malta, a home of gaming excellence. Excellence will be in the server, hopefully, for CR4ZY. They picked this map for a good reason. Let's see whether they can capitalize on said reason. Let's see whether the faith has been restored to this team. And Luke tends to disagree with us. Okay. Still odds favouring AVEZ. It has evened out a little bit for this second map, but they're still on board the 2-0 hype train.
Yeah, well, I'm going to certainly say that I'm going to go for the CR4ZY map victory here in map number 2. If you do want to get involved in Loot Bet, go and head over to the links in the Twitch description below. But jumping into the pistol round, it will be AVEZ starting off on that CT side. And will they try a little bit of early contact out towards a B? Stairs Bialy out through mid, has just ripped this round apart. And well, maybe those odds are up there for a reason.
Well, 4 versus 2, making it 1 as Sergius falls and Psycho is left alone. And CR4ZY being decimated by these pistols. Okay, then. That is a start. That is a big start from AVEZ. Yeah, like, that was over and done with so damn quickly, mate.
Well, look at the aggression. We've seen it like time and time again from AVEZ. They pushed quite aggressively towards the B stairs. They saw the spam coming out from the new wall banger position. And then Bialy just by himself goes, you know what, I'm just going to go for an aggressive wide swing out from mid, get a couple of easy kills. I know I'm going to land them because I'm Bialy. And for CR4ZY, no bomb plant, not really too much success. They only got away with 1 kill. This is a phenomenal start coming out for the AVEZ side.
And CR4ZY will try and find responses, but look at the CT aggression from the SMGs. They are not messing around. They don't want to give CR4ZY any breathing room. And yes, this aggression can get punished, but just take a look at how much they've done in such a short space of time. 3-on-3, it has actually led to a couple of casualties there on the AVEZ side. Doesn't they lost any major weapons or no rifles in particular. The SMG still standing by. DemQ's not going to be allowed to get that MP9 frag on Kyler. Repositioned as Bialy comes in, takes out Sensei, and now Psycho last man standing. Seen, sprayed. 3k now for Kyler. And there's a 2-round start for AVEZ that looked particularly impressive.
Well, the thing is AVEZ are going to know. It shouldn't really be a force buy considering that they didn't get too many kills and they didn't get a bomb plant off the back of that pistol. Now, most European teams would play that second round pretty passively. You know, maybe there's a little bit of aggression here or there, but AVEZ, I mean, they're just pushing everywhere at the moment. And, well, the MP9s, considering how much impact they found in terms of kill bonus, they've now been able to upgrade an AWP up for Marcos, and this could be a good option considering the fact the rifles are now up for the CR4ZY side. Ramp control coming in for the CTs, and CR4ZY, they are forced so deep. Oh, the flashbang's going to come in.
Flash over, Kai aggressing, Serg is down. They haven't gained bomb control just yet, but the SMGs, they're on a suicide mission, looking to try and take as much money as they can out of the hands of CR4ZY and into the bank accounts of AVEZ. 4-on-4 as they have found that first kill. The AK will get picked up. Psycho dealt with towards mid. Bialy will drop to DemQ, so the trades aren't quite as confident as they would have liked it to be. But AVEZ with an AK picked up to a 3-on-3 and still with that open M4 in play.
Kyler's alone in B, and as soon as he gets taken down, this B bomb site's going to be opened up, but actually the aggression works out in his favor. He holds onto that man advantage, and CR4ZY, well, they're not sure what to do now. They had some great map control out towards mid. They traded incredibly nicely. They could have just gone for a quick split in through that new connector bridge area into that B bomb site, but they try and slow it down, and well, the numbers game, it favors the AVEZ side. 40 seconds left on the clock now. CR4ZY, they just need to find something, and well, Nalrod's going to say, hang on a minute, boys, they're not at B.
Read it eventually. DemQ being watched out here by Kyler, though. M4, oh, he sees the shoulder, he knows. Spray takes him down. 13 HP, he barely stays alive, so that was a bit risky, but bomb on the back of Sensei, 20 seconds. I try to flash his way out towards the ramp position, try and draw the third player over there, and it almost drew Nalrod the same, but he stays steadfast. The smoke down, keeping his eyes on quad, the AK around that corner, Sensei gonna look for the bomb plant. Out here, Nora stalled for enough time at this stage. And there it is, Kyler with that final response as the information was called out. The rotations were quick and simple. And a 3-0 start for AVEZ on CT side.
Okay, things are looking really good at the moment for AVEZ. Just a great distraction play over at that B bomb site of Nalrod to at least allow the 1-for-1 to come out. But really, for CR4ZY, I certainly think that they need to counter this aggression with aggression. Now, Vertigo's a map that is still relatively new to the pool in comparison to the other maps, but it allows a lot of aggression on the CT side, and you've got to think for CR4ZY, you need to counter that, and well, that's a good option. Opening kill coming out for Toxic. They try and at least gain some control out towards the B stairs. Well, they take down Marcos, and really, that's the main man of the hour. He hasn't been able to strike too often so far in Vertigo, but when the AWP is in his hands, he can be deadly.
A good shot from Toxic to start things off with a deagle. DemQ is going to look for similar success out mid, missing his bullets out against Bialy. He's got backup though. Sensei will put the heart on towards him, so 5 versus 3 scenario. Kyler now. The sandbags are going to get forced forward here with a flashbang from his teammates. One player in that mid position that will not take face around this corner. Kyler will establish the mid control, but could fall very easily to DemQ. This M4 still lurking alongside Psycho, so early damage from the P250 and follow-up from the M4 waiting, and indeed DemQ catches the over-aggression, so AVEZ will get punished for their very reckless nature. And with the money line being where it is for AVEZ, CR4ZY could find their way back at evens very simply here.
They really could. This is unbelievable that they've been able to do this much damage, and you've got to think, surely there's no way that AVEZ can bring this back. Kai needs to have such a beautiful hold of this B bomb site, but the problem is they've already at least got a player lurking up to the A bomb site, and yeah, there's Sensei on the back line. Kai needs to try and hold on to this M4. Honestly, anything at this point. Time is running down low. But this is going to be a pretty easy round coming out for the Crazy side. No one goes down on that T side.
How efficiently they were punished on the CT side, on the complete polar opposite end of things. The Eagles and FAMAS is brought down with the M4 when they force back. And AVEZ, hopefully they'll hold a bit more of a standard set of rounds from here. They've had their fun in the pistol conversion and the rifle round. They force by once again from the CT camps. These the FAMAS out, the M4s, the Eagles. Basic pistols out here. Bialy and Morrot ready and waiting. Deagle's out. First player down. Psycho gonna have to contest against them. We'll take Bialy right back out of the equation, but the Deagle of Norrot gets it to a 4 versus 3. Rifles getting picked up. Look at Kyler as well. Does Toxic read this? His eyes are focused up, and he's going down. AVEZ, their aggression can still work here at certain points. They have to be careful about it, but for now they've got a 4 versus 2.
AVEZ are so damn aggressive, man. It's honestly frustrating for Crazy that they cannot deal with this aggression. Sometimes they can, sometimes they can't. But going into round number 5, a 4-on-2 advantage for AVEZ. CR4ZY, now he can call out to his teammates that A bomb site's open, but it's not really quite open.
All right, taken out. M4 for Sensei swings back on Marcos, so 2 versus 2. The A bomb site can be claimed, but look at Kai with the Deagle. Is nice out, his Deagle's in, he's going to hear these footsteps. Are they going to check this ramp position? Well, Sensei will plant safe. Seen, head, missed, second bullet lands instead. CR4ZY's in the back of the site as well. I don't know if he heard Kyler coming in from mid. He's going to check this angle anyway. I think he knows. Kyler swings, damage done. CR4ZY gets us to a 1 versus 1. The Molotov here towards the back line is going to force him to peek in from main. He hears him coming, taps it once, forcing CR4ZY to peek. Going to try and get him out of position here. Checking out the door, checking out the entrance. No kit, time is against him. CR4ZY realizes this, but he still goes down. And Kai, I think he's got enough time for this defuse. It'll be close.
He's got it.
He's got it. This is going to be a 4th for AVEZ. Beautiful stuff in the clutch.
That's huge. That is, again, a really big round from AVEZ, and that's off the back of another force buy. And Crazy, at least they get a bomb plant. At least they've got something working forward into round number 6. But really, AVEZ looking, I don't want to say comfortable, because some of these rounds have been really down to the wire, but at least they're playing their own game. And that's one thing that is always a massive advantage if you can get going on your opponent's map pick, is playing your own game. They are playing very reckless, I want to say, at the moment. They're playing very aggressively on this CT side. And, well, it's a match made in heaven at the moment.
The AVEZ aggression has tamed itself a little bit, not quite going aggressive so far as to push out from B main or at mid. Still quite aggressive towards the ramp entrance, and again, the flashbang's in for Bialy, going to try and get an opening kill. It's blind shots from Sensei, though, connecting to Bialy's position. The FAMAS are out. The AWP trying to land some wall bangs. Unfortunately, they won't be quite as good from Sensei. The AK of DemQ swinging out here from the mid aggression. Marcos still there, drops him, looks for DemQ, but double up comes in with the T-side player, and they have the B-side control. 4 versus 2, this has to be a safe call.
Crazy say, you know what, you can take a ramp. It's fine by us. We'll just pretty much just chill out here. We'll play really passive. They find the opening kill from Bialy straight through a smoke, and from there, AVEZ, they just keep pushing. And Crazy just so ready for it. Great openings coming out from DemQ out through mid, trying to split into that B bomb side. And it's got to be a save attempt. So Crazy is starting to now get a bit of momentum going on the T side. We certainly need to see rounds in a row from them, though, Jay.
Yeah, this will have to be a follow-up from Crazy in order to get themselves back into contention. They have got the economy advantage, so there's always that there. the AK and the FAMAS out, obviously AVEZ will not be able to rebuy with the single round loss bonus they've been holding for the longest time. It will still be a force up anyway, because there'll be double eco regardless. So to have those rifles, have at least an SMG, a Deagle, a little bit of Kevlar surrounding it. Makes sense. We go forward onto Dawn here for AVEZ. AWP straight out for Sensei, waiting for a CT player to get aggressive. And Norot's again going to get so close towards the smokes. They saw him, I believe. But he opts to back off very early on here. Not going to push past that smoke, only up towards it.
And not as aggressive as we've seen before from the AVEZ side. And one thing in particular for CR4ZY is if they're playing so passive on T because they're waiting for this aggression, it honestly could start running down the clock incredibly low without any kind of a contact being established. At least this time around, taking control over towards the B stairs. Nothing really coming out from ramp so far.
$60 seconds to the hit. Norot jump facing it towards the sandbag. He's going to shoulder bait it, check with the FAMAS out. His knife's also in check. Looking to the back lines, jump facing, trying to see someone out here, but no info going his way. The moment he does get info, though, he's going to fall right back. You know that he just can't take this challenge. And no, he doesn't fall back. He just pushes straight in, gets shut down by CR4ZY. So never mind. I don't know what I'm talking about. I shouldn't have this job. 5 versus 4. AVEZ still have an aggressive play here towards Ali. Kai could be a bit of a linchpin. 2 players lined up for him. He drops that bomb, but does not get the second kill. Got an SMG still pushing forward even after. Throws the Demku's right around his corner. Jump faces, gets the kill. Kyler going to support 15 seconds. They've got bomb control. Toxic has no idea there's a third T-side player. And Sensei left alone. Sandwiched between Kyler and Bialy. Kyler gets 3. And CR4ZY caught so quickly off guard there.
And I'm just like slapping my forehead here, Jay. You know,
same.
Like for CR4ZY, like they've not been able to win rounds consistently and in a row. And you've got to think for AVEZ, most players would probably just fall back from ramp. But no, AVEZ, they're so uncharacteristic. And you look at the odds from LootBet, and I'll tell you what, it makes a lot of sense at the moment. And some fantastic codes for you guys to use at home for over at Hellcase. Malta V being able to give you a little bit of an extra bonus. And well, a bonus, these HEs, look at a bonus they do to the players out towards ramp. Psycho and Circus so damn low.
Perfectly placed as well. They've got a good beat onto where they're positioned right now. AK moving in for Psycho, shut down by the worst player. Sensei can respond on Norot though. 4 versus 3, and these ramp challenges from AVEZ need to stop. They are conceding man advantages as a result of their aggression. Rotation's out, going to leave Kai standing alone. He did a great job, but only with backup in that last round's defensive. And Bialy is here for the second player. The third man also on his way back in. As utility comes out, it will be no fake. Kai can hear them if they make their way back out of ramp, but they are full-blown committing to this. CR4ZY's shoulder baiting, looking up towards the site, and again, AVEZ, by sheer silence, will keep the pressure against CR4ZY as they run the clock down on the execution. Flash has come over. CR4ZY's going to make his way around. Drop Bialy. M4 here. CR4ZY reads it. M4 comes out. Kyler able to got to support his teammate, but he baits him for a kill, and that eventually leads to his demise. So CR4ZY with a third on the T-side board. And AVEZ is really struggling. They need to completely change the rulebook because right now what they're doing, it's only partially working.
Well, the fact of the matter is these last 6 rounds have been back and forward. It's been a CT win, a T win, a CT win, a T win, and we're just going back and forward with both teams just force buying on a consistent basis. And you're right, you know, it seems like the aggression, it works in some cases, but sometimes it just seems like it's such a massive overextension, and CR4ZY are winning out the opening advantages. Going into round number 9. Now, if CR4ZY can win this on the T side, Jay, this could be put a stop to all of this back and forwardness.
Again, aggression out from the CT forces, this time a little bit more understandable with the lack of weaponry they have. So stack in aggression, grabbing an AK, but probably conceding the round off the back of that. Marco's just got to get out of dodge and evade any sort of kills against his name. So we can hold that AK and can just see it as a successful sort of eco. I mean, successful eco, but that being said, they also force bought, so I'm not even sure that'll even be an applicable sort of term. But either way, just to grab an AK, take that away from CR4ZY. It's better than what most of that round would have done there with the basic pistols of AVEZ. He'll sneak in, see CR4ZY who's going hunting. The rest of the T's are all around him. And that nade bouncing a bit too far back, so not major damage done to the T side. CR4ZY will keep 4 players alive. Grab all their AKs, make sure none fall back to AVEZ, and now it has to be a full eco for the CTs. For CR4ZY's great chance to turn a 5-5 scoreline as well.
And that's going to give them a bit of momentum and a bit of confidence on their own map pick. They certainly have, well, I would say both teams have struggled at the moment on Vertigo. It has not been the cleanest of Counter-Strike from either of these sides. It's been very messy, very sloppy, very in your face, and very chaotic. But this could be the chance for CR4ZY to, you know, slow it down a little bit, see if they can make their way back into the game, considering the fact there's not too many upgrades here. And with all the CTs swinging out from ramp, they find that first kill, but they shouldn't really be able to find any more than that. And, well, only 1 kill goes the way of the CT sides. The AK's using a lot of bullets, but also taking a lot of people down.
Easy.
Easy, easy.
Easy peasy. 5-5 on the board, and the rebuy coming in from AVEZ. And again, I want to see a change of pace. I do not want to see them aggress. I want to see them sit back in standard defensive positions. Maybe get a bit of ramp control here from the construction area, maybe towards sandbags, but do not swing on contact. Don't go out in the open. You know, so many times they've been punished for that. Maybe if they could get some good spawns and establish it past the smoke, then maybe that flashbang in could allow the M4s to claim some kills like they were doing on the SMG rounds in the early game. Look at the aggression from Kaido. Drops out 1 player, unable to connect to the second. Crosshair's a little bit mispositioned on that, so early frags going the way of no one. 4 on 4. Did see 2 T-side players here, though, so AVEZ may have a bit of information to work with in the early round.
Now, if they would have committed to B immediately, that bomb site was completely open. That could have been a massive chance for CR4ZY to get a bomb plant, but they slow it right down. They try and force out the rotations from the AVEZ side. Marcos still pretty aggressive out through mid. Hasn't really seen anything at the moment. And we spoke about passiveness potentially coming out from the AVEZ side. We certainly have not seen it so far going into round number 11. Both the players on ramp trying to look for some fights, but for CR4ZY, at least backing off from ramp for the meanwhile. I'm seeing if they can find something over towards this B bomb site from Psycho. And this is probably one of the slowest rounds we've seen from CR4ZY yet.
And Kai and Nora there with the trades over on the ramp position. That's a 2 for 3, favor to the AVEZ cap. The M4 Bialy hearing the footsteps of Psycho should realize that that was a boost in. There's no way he would have heard that without the metal walking of the stairs. CR4ZY spotted and spray, taken out bomb, drop Psycho, also seen completely blind. Good flash in from Norot. Well, now Bialy is 2k. And AVEZ much better on the frags, much better on the defensive. Going to just maintain their lead against CR4ZY.
And really what that comes down to is they continue the fight out from ramp. They don't allow the control to come out for the T side. It's a 2-for-1 trade, or like you said, a 3-for-2 in favor of the AVEZ side. And from there, they've got a 3-on-2. Bialy's playing very passive at B. He's heard the information. He's heard the footsteps. He can call the rotations in. And, well, that's the lead regained from the AVEZ side. And CR4ZY, let's see if they can just find an opening advantage. At least this time around, a little bit more utility for AVEZ to work with. Marcos has been playing very aggressive out through mid. This time around, he's got a player to try and back him up with Bialy.
Much more passive here from CR4ZY and AVEZ. A flash in from Kai. I don't like where this is going.
They're looking. They're hunting.
No, I thought he was going to bring out the M4 and just hold passive positions and wait for a counter flash. Nora's going to peek him without the flash. He's seen them, though. He should have seen both of them.
Here
Kai, don't do this, mate. Don't do this. Flash in, aggression. He does get his kill. Okay, CR4ZY's thrown off on his spray, and they do find the man advantage. Flash back in, sees the AWP going much better for Nora this time. And a 5-on-4.
Oh, the damage. And Kai, they can just fall back. It's a 5-on-4 advantage, but they want to keep fighting. It's so damn aggressive coming out from AVEZ. And while they're holding on to the man advantage, Kai just gives it right back into a 3-on-3. Yes, the HP advantage is there from the CT side, but they're just unnecessary duels.
And they have turned it to even as a result of that. That nade does not land quite where they wanted it to. Crazy do get out of dodge. But yes, good opening in this round. Not the best follow-up. 20 seconds, though. Their efforts have forced Crazy to commit at the very last second. Have got smokes down towards those crosses. Molotov's on. May throw that smoke off. Indeed, Marcos drops the bomb partner. Going to make his way in point blank. Doesn't see the player on side. What a flick! And now Sensei left alone. One pick to his name. 5 seconds to find two more. Sees the man. Jump spin throws the hitbox off. And Sensei will fall. I don't know what I've just seen in that round, but whatever it was from AVEZ, it has somehow managed to make it work.
Mate, I'll tell you what, AVEZ are my new favorite team to follow. They play a very unique style of Counter-Strike, and it's so in your face. I mean, Marcos, they've got the advantage. He doesn't need to push through like that, but he goes, you know what, I'm going to go for it. And, well, it's so in your face. 7-5, the lead on the CT side. AVEZ, like this, it's so difficult to play against. It really is.
And it's working out well enough for the CT camp, you know, 7-5 and everything. And then finally, as well, off the back of that round, the CTs have forced them to a bit of a half by force round from Crazy. You got Toxic the force port, everybody down to about 1.5 or 2k or 3k in certain cases. Bialy gonna mop up the low firepower players here as he takes out Danku and CR4ZY. Kill from Psycho recovers that AK. Sensei and Toxic are waiting back for the B-side execution. Psycho will go ahead and join him here. 60 seconds to the clock. AVEZ currently at the advantage.
And it's got to be a B play coming out for Crazy. They don't really have too many options here. They can at least try and get some generator smokes up to at least help them get into the site. But you've got to think for Marcos with this AWP should be able to shut this down pretty easily. And well, that incendiary, it's going to make it even more difficult for the T's.
Marcos ready, cross already locked, flashbang from Carter, two player popping out, drops one with the bomb. AWP going to be heavily pressured, but still Crimson and Sensei, but not able to get Psycho left. Bomb plant to be secured, the CTs can't quite deny it as he keeps his head low. Tech 9 out here for two players, AK barely kept alive, but can't get away far enough. Bit antsy there from Psycho towards the end of it, kind of threw off his aim, threw off his sense, and throws off the 8th for AVEZ. Crazy. Again, not bad for a bit of a weird sort of round. The buys can come through from 4 players. Toxic's going to have to stick with the Tech 9 and armor, but I think everybody else is going to force the issue.
And Crazy, they're having a really rough time at the moment. And one thing in particular, I've said it on Train, I'm saying it again on Vertigo, they've just not been able to play their own game on T side. We've really not seen too much tactical depth, and the reason for that is AVEZ are just holding W. They are playing, you know, very aggressive. It's very difficult to deal with. Even try to take like ramp control. You never know when a single flash is going to come out and someone's going to swing. And they're playing very nervously at the moment, the T's. And for Crazy, it's not a position you want to be in, but they're forced into playing this kind of style of play.
Well, 8-5 on the board, and again, it is working out well for AVEZ, and are able to get the picks as necessary, but Crazy are not too far behind them here. They could still turn an 8-7 half. The best thing right now for this T side going into their CT half. AWP is Sensei. Hope we catch off one of the CT forces, seeing that spray come through in the tracers, locked onto his position, but Bialy getting out of dodge just in time, so not to be. 5 versus 5, Crazy. Kind of in desperate need to win this round, else they'll be reset for the final round of the half. And again, Kyler is aggressive. Don't know if Toxic's seen this. I don't know if Psycho's going to be able to score with a flashbang, but no, it doesn't. M4 spray lines up 1. Damage done to the 2nd. The USP has to get pulled out, and Psycho will take that chance to strike.
A bit of a sloppy spray there coming out from Kyler. I mean, at least he's able to find an opening kill, so even if he goes down, it's still an even playing field. And you've got to think for Crazy, what's the go here? They don't really have any map control being established. CR4ZY is trying to see if he can just find something out from ramp. But really, for Crazy, we're getting to 50 seconds on the clock, and they don't really have any options. It looks like it's going to be an A play.
CR4ZY with the Molotov, Kai standing by with the AK, Psycho with the bomb on his back, going to make his way up, and they're going to hear all this information. They should know that the majority of the T-side forces are out here. 3 players out, Kai going to swing in towards ramp, not the right place, not the right time. Norot's going to need that support, Kai to take out 1 and 2, and Norot in the chaos, swings out to take his own kill. DemQ left alone here in a 1 versus 4. Out from mid, out on stack. As soon as he drops Marcos, we're going to hear this. He doesn't actually, the AWP. Like he expects it. Right at point blank. Good kill. Good ninth. AVEZ really going to shut down Crazy here.
And they're like, how did Kai get there? We mollied off Ali. There's no way he could have pushed aggressively, but he did. And he beat the molly to it. As soon as that molly goes down, or before that molly goes down, he pushes aggressively, completely undetected. And as soon as he gets a couple of kills, his teammate over at the other side of ramp's able to swing, and oh, damn, Crazy. They're having a rough time. They're having a really rough time on this T-side. Only 5 rounds on their own map pick, and it's not enough, Jay.
Yeah, one of the few maps that is T-sided, and Crazy are unable to get it going here on their T-side, so. AVEZ. Currently with full control, the damage done to DemQ. AK's got to get passed off to CR4ZY as the ramp controls. Not quite gained by AVEZ, but they certainly have punished Crazy for taking it of their own right. Still pushing in for CR4ZY, looking like he's tempted to go for a face-up, but nothing going to be seen here on this T-side force.
AVEZ, this is probably one of the most passive rounds we've seen from them yet, giving up complete ramp control, and they're not really in a position to aggress to look for some information. They're quite happy to allow the T side to execute to this A bomb site. There's still a hell of a lot of utility for Crazy to work with. Flash coming in for Kai, doesn't see anything out from Ali, but there's still a lot of information that it has to be an A play for the T side.
Smokes down, flushes over Molotovs in. Kai's going to swing aggressive, get out 1 and 2. Nice and efficient there, completely blind, but still gets toxic. Trying to look for his 4K, not quite enough. Psycho takes him down, looks for the plant out here, but 25 seconds, Bial's going to get Sensei, and Norot's going to peek in on Psycho. So 10-5 for AVEZ, looking crisp and clean on the CT side.
Okay, that's an unbelievable half, and I've got to be honest, I did not see AVEZ being able to put up that many rounds in that first half. 5 in a row towards the back end, and well, for Crazy, they didn't have an answer. That's really what it comes down to. They could not find an answer to deal with that aggression. The only round that I saw confidence was that 4th round, the first gun round of the game, where they just held back. They waited for AVEZ to push all the way through, and they absolutely demolished them. But then from there, we didn't really see too much of momentum being carried forward. They only had that streak of 3 rounds in a row. Outside of that, we didn't see any more than 1 round in a row. And wow, look at those odds from LootBet, Jay. 5-1 now up for Crazy. Now this is their map pick in this best of 3.
To be fair, this is their CT side, so I can understand where LootBet come from here, and I can completely sympathize with the odds because...
Oh, 100%, yeah.
AVEZ on this map, they have a 59% win rate on T side versus a 40% win rate on CT side. So... They currently have quite the advantage. If that was their CT side, imagine what their T side is going to look like against Crazy. AVEZ in a really good position right now, statistically speaking, so... Based on that, Crazy could have a number of worries to deal with here. The CTs will start things off with damage, at least on the pistol round. Utility for Psycho, CR4ZY, and the defuse nade for DemQ, who are actually going to get their first pick in the mid position. So a good start for the Ukrainian camp.
Yeah, so far this is looking pretty good for the Crazy side. They get that opening pick. There is still a little bit of utility up for Narot, and well, Kai's been able to at least establish some solo control out through this ramp position. Able to get a little bit of utility up, cross smoke and maybe a molly for the back red boxes to try and see if they can force any of the Crazy members further back. Sensei tried to go for the body block, but unfortunately wasn't able to find it.
Let's do damage to Norrot to start things off, though. They have maintained control of the A bomb site. Bomb plant faked once.
Oh my goodness.
Look how close Kyler's going to get. Sensei going to get shut down. 2 players. He's dinked MQ. And Psycho taking tag damage of his own right. Kyler's finally going to get 4 to 15 HP. But the amount of work he's done here, even though they will be at the man disadvantage, buys a chance for AVEZ. 4 versus 3. It smokes down. And flashes over. Nice secondary smoke coming in from the T-side camp. Psycho to put his flash out will force the final peek in from the CT camp. Kai tanks it to the face and still looking for players on site. Bialy gets Psycho. They're on site. DemQ is so low. They can't land the shot. Bialy just about gets it in time, but his teammates have gone down. He's on for the 4K. Toxic taps it, sticks it for a few seconds, but peeks out wide for Bialy to get 4 frags, to get the 11th, to get the pistol for AVEZ.
Now, unfortunately, we've seen CR4ZY start T-side on both Train and now on Vertigo, and they have not been able to win the pistol round in that second half on both the maps. And one thing we certainly said on Train is, you know, they can win this pistol round, they can allow a comeback to come through. It's the same for Vertigo, and that's the thing. AVEZ have been able to put some really great rounds up in both first halves, 9 on Train, 10 on Vertigo, and without that pistol round coming through for CR4ZY, again, they're in money line desperation. They have to go for the force buy, but it's a mirror image to Train, Jay.
Still be within touching distance, of course, for AVEZ. They won't be fully past the line as a result of this pistol, so CR4ZY still have a chance. A slim chance, but a chance nonetheless. Kai with that first kill on Sensei to kick things off here in the force buy round, the MAC-10. Also 3 here for AVEZ, 2 AKs for Bialy and Kyler. Smokes on, flashes over Psycho, keeping his eyes on with a nice nade on towards site. He's ready to put that down as soon as the bomb plant starts coming in. It won't be enough to take out Bialy here. He does fake it once to try and force that utility out of their hands. Now goes for the second plant, nades on, 2 stacks on. Bialy stays alive at 6 HP. Passing that AK back to Norrot as well, a good call here. 5 on 4, CR4ZY suppressing the bomb site.
And, well, CR4ZY, they have to go for it. You got to think, and, oh my goodness, some really sharp shots coming out for both sides. But the man advantage, it's still in favor of the Ts, and a bit of over-aggression coming out, and now CR4ZY, well, they opt to go for the save. It's just so aggressive from AVEZ to try and hunt down these players. And CR4ZY, they're running out of time, running out of options, and they're running out of rounds, Jay. This is now going to be 12 on the board for AVEZ. Man, oh man. We're seeing the streak of rounds again coming out from the polls. This is now 7 rounds in a row if you bring in the back end of that first half.
I'm not too surprised that the MAC-10s went hunting for kills. If they got the money, that would have been great. But of course, they are just MAC-10s, so it's not much of a loss here for AVEZ. They still got to force the buy, so the economy line's still going to be a little bit wrecked on 3 players. They're going to have to buy up anyway, so, you know, to hell with it. Eco round got to come through from CR4ZY anyway, so these rifles should mostly stay in check. Psycho and Sergiz could be a bit of a problem, and indeed, they're going to push those SMGs pretty aggressive. Nice nade on Sergiz here. MAC-10 up, boost up above the smoke. Doesn't see anything as of right now. They're going to try and get out of dodge. The CTs are closing on their positions. Manic sprays. Kai does get a lucky headshot on Sergiz. The CZ moves in, flash over. DemQ's not dealt with. They do sustain 1 casualty. And Sensei with the MAC-10 here, looking for another good kill. If he finds that, no. 2 versus 4. I was going to say if he finds that, that would be a great way back in, but not to be. This P250 from Toxic actually could do some damage here. Are they ready for this? Kyle has seen it. Not going to happen, so there you go. 13 to the board of AVEZ. They do lose 1, maybe even 2. If they do lose the second player of Norrot, making his way in with the bomb, that would have been significant economical damage, but he'll get away alive, it seems. So 13 confidently to the board of AVEZ.
And you've got to think for Psycho, what can he really do with this MP9? That's a good shot coming out to Norrot, but no more than that's going to come through. And AVEZ, they are getting closer and closer to that 16th, to that map victory in the 2-0 series. And honestly, like, if you were a viewer that was just tuning into the stream and you looked at the results and you think, okay, you know, 16-7 on Train, now 13-5 on Vertigo, this has been a one-sided affair. I wouldn't really say it has been a one-sided affair. Unfortunately, for CR4ZY, they just have not been able to establish these comebacks off the back of economy. And that's really been their biggest lack of momentum at the moment. Oh, I thought he was actually not going to make that in the end.
Yeah. It looks so disjointed and awkward there
Yeah.
from AVEZ, but Kyler just sticks the landing, fortunately enough. Martov's in, damage done to Kyler, damage done to Marcos and Bialy, and Nora as well. Kyler's still in the position here as Kai takes out Sensei to start here on the A campaign. Seeing, not seeing, CR4ZY. Back's turn, that could be a nice kill. Indeed, the M4 swings out the strike, so back to 4-on-4 we'll go. The main T-side forces are making their way in from the B-bomb site. Toxic still gets Bialy. Has he dropped the bomb? I think he has. Kyler in the midst of the Molotov gonna burn. And now 2 players left. One in the back line's dealt with all the same. Marcos on 11 HP and AVEZ, a complete disaster of a default.
Oh, lovely stuff from CR4ZY. What a shutdown coming out. Pretty much everyone finding kills except for Sensei. And Marcos, 1 versus 3, probably won't be able to find too much here. Taking some damage onto the CT players could be nice, but all in all, this should be a 6th round going the way of the CR4ZY side. And well, they needed it, Jay. They absolutely needed some sort of momentum to come forward, and it's been a hell of a long time since they've been able to win out a round.
13-6. CR4ZY at least getting that much here. What did you say, like 8 rounds on the trot for AVEZ, including the ones from the last half, so...
Yeah, yeah, should be 8 now. Yep.
CR4ZY finally getting something back for their CT camp. 3 AKs recovered as well for them, so the M4s in DemQ and Psycho will be pretty well backed up here by the headshot potential of that CR4ZY camp. The nades up, the damage coming in minimal towards Norrot, who is the most forward player of the AVEZ force buy. And yes, that is a force buy, heavy investment with not a lot of rifles coming out here. He's going to sneak past CR4ZY though.
Yes.
Second time he's played this position, and Norrot's here on the A bomb site already. Sprays against his teammates will do damage, but that's only a pistol that falls low.
They've got no idea. They've got absolutely no idea he's here. He should be able to line up a couple of kills. Oh, he's going to wait 2, and well, already 5-on-4. Great advantage coming out. Circus out from Ali. Oh my goodness, Narwhal is a master. That is insane. 2 big kills, and with the rotations coming in quickly to this A bomb side, they've done a lot of damage onto a couple of the players. The man advantage is here for the T side.
And AKs across the entire T side board as well. Backstab in, Bialy and Kai getting 2 more kills. DemQ's low. Kyler gets that frag straight to the smoke, straight to the head. 14 to AVEZ and CR4ZY. That was their door back into the matchup, and it's just not gonna happen here. 14-6, and maybe our dreams, our expectations of a 3rd map are now gonna go to paid, because this is looking real good here from AVEZ.
It really is, and I certainly think that CR4ZY won't even be able to put up any more rounds. You look at the fact they're playing for OT, and it's going to be a long stretch to overtime. It would have to be 9 rounds in a row coming out for CR4ZY just to get to 15. Man, oh man, they have really not been able to find the success against AVEZ in this best of 3, considering the fact they had a huge comeback over Hard Legion in the opening best of 1 to get into the winner's bracket, into the winner's match, and well, they have just, yeah, been outclassed today. AVEZ, you should think that this should be a relatively easy round. Not too many kills should go the way of the CR4ZY side.
I mean, don't ever count out the Deagles because they can do damage, but the stack in towards mid and Bialy ACs the gun barrel. Awkward spray. Does only take 1 kill and a minimal amount of damage done to the CT camp. As they storm the A bomb site, though, it's just going to be Psycho here with his Deagle back. Players going to make their way in. DemQ spotted on the cross, just get about escapes damage. Psycho pushing forward as Sensei drops. Norwalk gets DemQ. Still a chance. No, Glock shuts him down. So Toxic, last man standing, 1 versus 4. And this will be 15-6 for AVEZ. A dominant matchup. It looks to continue that way into CR4ZY unless something ridiculous comes in on this comeback. 9 rounds to the comeback to overtime before we even get to the victory scenario here for CR4ZY.
Man, this is insane. This is unbelievable from the AVEZ side. If they win this map, Jay, they would have won 9 in a row. That's on a hot streak at the moment for this AVEZ side. And, well, you know, they're certainly performing at a very high level. CR4ZY This is going to be the last chance, the last saloon to see if they can get something back. Good shot does come out from Sensei, but it doesn't find the opening advantage as it's into a 4 versus 4.
He takes damage for it as well, so actually AVEZ are the ones that come out on the better scenario. They know where the AWP is, they've done it for a number. AK swinging doesn't even need to get the headshot against him, but Sensei will get the headshot on Norwalk instead. So 4 versus 3 right now, crazy looking good. And T's going to make their way out into the B-bomb site setup. As Marcos and Kyler put some utility out here. Smoke on towards that mid position. They just have to put the one player back here. Toxic is now known. He smokes back that core position. Checked on AK sprayed through. Does not take him down, but Kai finds a response trade. So 3 versus 2. AVEZ at a disadvantage, but that could all change at the drop of a dime. Kai case in point. 2 players, last 2 spotted now. Cypher gets that frag. Marcos gets 1 and turns on for the headshot. 2K to his name at the end of that round. And 16-6 at the end of the match. 2-0 for AVEZ. And well, I guess we put a little bit too much stock in Crazy today, Dwayne. Unfortunately, the Vertigo map has actually gone very, very well for the